Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the president and founder of our network. Our show today is The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. And in case you're wondering who is Lady Ella and what is this show all about, this show is in support of a new book that I am writing along with my co-author, Mariska Duprier. She's in New Zealand. And this book is all about teaching children and their parents how to listen at an elevated level. So if you see the book cover next to me, each of the animal characters represents an actual human being, someone who is on our team here at USA Global TV and Radio, and they have been certified by me as an elevated listener. My role is the listening mentor. And as the listening mentor, I teach people how to break bad habits and how to listen with complete focus and dedication, offering a safe space to each and every person with whom they've promised to offer that dedication. So each week we will be looking at a different animal character, and we will be having the human being behind that character join us to share why they're part of this project, which is 7 books overall. This is the first one. It's coming out for Black Friday here in the United States, which I believe is November 26th, and it will be available worldwide. So today's featured animal is EARL, the horse, representing Mr. HIETT IVES, joining us from Texas. Let's welcome HIETT. Hi.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. How are you this marvelous Tuesday?
It's so nice to see you, HIETT, and I'm just really grateful to you for being part of this project. So I'd love for you to share a little bit before we talk about the animal. What is it that you do in real life to help other people?
What I do is business to business trade show marketing and business to business marketing. I help people put their best foot forward in the marketing realm for website copy, collateral material copy, and then also business to business trade shows where my clients are guaranteed qualified leads from every trade show in which they exhibit and use my services.
Thank you, HIETT. And in addition, you also are an author, and you also are really an expert when it comes to grammar and eliminating words that don't provide any value in a sentence. Can you tell us more about that?
I went to a British boarding school for 4 years, and I was recognized as an underclassman as the best writer in the school. And a few years later, I said, if the British Jesuits recognize that skill, perhaps it's one that I ought to hone. And I have done that over the years, and ended up, I am now in my 6th year of That Ain't Not Right, the Use and Abuse of the English Language weekly missive that I put out every Tuesday morning. In fact, one went out today. And I have volume 1 of That Ain't Not Right, Use and Abuse of the English Language book, and we'll be putting together a second one shortly. I've also written a book on business to business trade show marketing, so I have 2 books to my credit, and both were fun to put together, and looking forward to doing more.
Thanks, HIETT. And you also were the editor on both of my books. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
All right, let's get into this project, HIETT. When I reached out to you and asked you if you wanted to be part of it, you agreed. Tell us why.
Well, putting animals into the everyday life of people I'm guessing that a whole lot of children have not had the opportunity to interface with any animal, maybe dog and a cat, and but horses, lions, cows, owls are not something that children, unfortunately, have an opportunity to interface with. So through the characteristics of those animals and how they interface with both other animals and themselves, I hope to help you give the children an opportunity to understand and perhaps want to get more involved with the animals that are going to be portrayed in this book.
Excellent. Thank you. And so you chose a horse, and you named the horse Errol. Tell us more about why you chose a horse, what that represents, and the name.
Well, horses are majestic, strong, emotional. The author, or your illustrator, I gave him several pictures of different horses, and he chose this white horse. I don't know if he knows it, but actually the white Arabian horse is the oldest registered horse in the world. It goes back over 3,000 years, 3,000 BC, excuse me, so 5,000 years. So it is the most majestic, and it's a spirited, loving, loyal animal. And as far as the name, I got introduced, well, truth be known, the first time I rode a horse was at my sister's 5th birthday party, where we brought in a pony, and all of us kids got to ride the pony around the backyard. My first real interface with a horse, full-size horse, was in the UK, and many of you have seen British movies, not the least of which is some of the 007 movies, recorded at Pinewood Studios. Well, Pinewood Studios has a 2-mile long stretch of road in the middle of the forest, and they do all of the chases and carriage rides and stuff. Well, I got to ride Pinewood Studios for a number of years, and using British saddle, and of course that's where EARL came from. EARL is, of course, of English origin, meaning nobleman, warrior, and it's comes from the 12th century England. So you have the oldest horse with a British name.
Thank you for sharing all of that. And by the way, big hello to all of our friends in the UK, especially London. We know that is exceptionally hot over there today. So we have you in our thoughts and prayers.
It's as hot there as it is here, but they don't have the air conditioning.
I know, it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit there today.
Yeah.
So HIETT, I'm very interested in exploring this Pinewood Studios, this adventure that you have, because that's a place that's really well known across the world for some of the most fantastic movies.
Yeah, it's that, it's one of those things, if you don't know it's there, you're going to miss it. But it is, and I didn't go to the studios part of it. I went on this. I don't know how long. I think it's a couple of miles long, but it is deep wooded, and it's got a firm road to it, dirt road, so that they can ride the horses, and there's enough off-road stuff that you can go back into the trees and get away from it all. So it gives you an opportunity to ride as fast as you want, or explore the woods. It was just a unique opportunity, a unique way to learn about horses.
It's fascinating. I actually took riding lessons. I signed up, I think, for a package of 10, and I went twice. And that was it, because I knew the horse could feel I was afraid. And I thought, I don't want to waste the horse's time.
I've got a couple of interesting horse stories. The When my daughter was in her teenage years, she was um, in a church event, church choir, I think it was, and we went to a retreat over a weekend, and it was at a dude ranch, and they had horses, and I felt very comfortable on the horse, and when we were riding during the day, I was trying to steer the horse, off the beaten path, and he let me do it. He knew where he was eventually going to go, but it was obvious that he wanted to be the leader. Well, that night, we used the same horses for some fun games that I knew the horse had played that game a whole lot of times. So I basically, and this was the fathers of the kids, and I simply whispered, put my head down to his ear, and said, "Hey, you've done this a whole lot more times than I have. You know how to do it right, so I'm going to let you just do your thing." We won.
Congratulations.
Gave control back to the animal that knew what to do and how to do it.
Horses are quite beautiful creatures and strong and intelligent.
Yes. I witnessed a friend of mine that I met on a vacation. He was a Norwegian veterinarian specializing in large animals, and he had his clinic right next to his house, north of Oslo, and he treated horses, and he built a large room, which was a padded cell basically, with a roll-in floor. And what he did, he would take a horse in there, anesthetize it. It would bounce around and fall down on this floor, but and then he'd roll that floor out into the office and perform surgery, and then roll them back into the padded room, if you will. And the surgery that I witnessed was a famous racehorse that had a bone spur that normally would have required him to be put down, but he was valuable at stud, so they had him operated on and fix the leg, fix the problem with the leg. Obviously, he would never run again, but he was able to stand as stud for several years thereafter.
How would you describe the personality traits of your horse? When you think about these other horses, does anything stand out to you that you say, you know what, I watched this movie or I rode this horse and these attributes really apply to this horse that I've named Earl?
Loyalty, majesty. They, so many of the breeds are always in control. They can talk to you non-verbally. I think we all remember the Clydesdale commercials back when they used the horses, and some of those Clydesdale commercials are just classic. The one I remember the most is after 9/11, where they had the team across the Hudson on the Jersey Shore, and it was showing the aftermath of 9/11, and then the team came in and they all knelt down, all of the horses. It was so anyway, the loyalty, the with the majesty and the ability to communicate non-verbally with people, and that of course goes along with the listening skills that you're looking to instill in the children.
Thank you, Hyatt. And so just so the audience knows, the book has been written. It's actually hot off the press. It hasn't been printed though. And we are doing some final changes and edits before we send it to the illustrator just so the words and the story can be lined up with the pictures. But Hyatt doesn't know the story, and neither does anyone else except for Mariska and my book coach, Red. So we revealed last week that the white lioness is an albino lioness named Cicalina, which means listen. And Janetta Barry has named that character. And so that is who she is in this book. We now know you are the horse, and we will each week reveal one of the other characters. When you look at the book cover, Hyatt, how do you feel in your role as the horse, majestic and loyal and has good listening skills, that you'll interact with the other animals?
Well, he is outside the fence, meaning he's on the wild side, if you will. And horses are pack animals. They live in packs, and they thrive with association. So they do that both in the wild and in captivity or domestication, or however you want to refer to them on the human side of the fence. So I think there are a lot of characteristics that they mirror, and we mirror from them. And the fact that this is one of the animals that is comfortable on both sides of the fence. You're not going to bring the white lion or the leopard or the chimpanzee or any of the other animals on the wild side of the fence into your home or into your close proximity, and spend lots of time with them, and not only spend time with them, but utilize them for their skills. You've got, there are over 350 breeds of horses. I'd said my horse here is an Arabian, but you've got everything from thoroughbreds and Clydesdales and Mustangs and Tennessee walking horses, and the same famous Liechtenstein stallions from Austria. So they have skills to entertain. They have skills to work, to be beasts of burden, if you will. But also, many a royalty sits high their horse, and that is their, before the Rolls Royces of the world and the Cadillacs and the Lincoln Continentals, there were the horses, and you showed your grandeur, you showed your status, if you will, by the horse that you had and the relationship you had with that horse.
I love these tips that you're sharing, Hi. It's very interesting. Thank you.
My pleasure.
We're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors, and then we'll be back with more with Hyatt and his horse, Earl. Thank you. Stay with us.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jacalyn. I'm a ballerina from Italy. After 2 years of waiting, finally I fulfilled my dream of learning etiquette. This learning process has become unforgettable for me. The patient and professional teachers have helped me to get a more comprehensive knowledge about etiquette culture. The British School of Excellence provided me the best way to live gracefully, respectful attitude, lighter mood, and heart, where our love is innocent. Thank you.
beautiful creatures. So, Hyatt, I want to talk a little bit about listening skills now. So we talked about your horse, and your horse is loyal. Is your horse an excellent listener?
Yes, and he can not only hear, but he can sense emotional elements. He can sense sadness or happiness or despair or loneliness in others, in other horses and in humans. And in that respect, can horses are used a lot in therapy, as therapy animals and as reconnecting animals, reconnecting people to everyday life, and through a creature that has it all together, and has it can help us get where we want to go faster, easier, and more confidently.
Thank you. Very good points. And Hyatt, you are a graduate of the Power of Listening, and you have your certification. It's up on drjacalyn.com. Everyone can see it there. What are some of the things that you've learned about listening skills that you've incorporated in your own life?
Oh, the, the I'm paraphrasing it. You know, the one of the most difficult things about listening is listening. Stop talking yourself. Stop thinking out loud, and listen, not to just what people are saying, but what they are feeling, and what emotions and backstories, if you will, that they have. I too often in the past. Well, I'll go back to basically when I was 5 or 6 years old. Um, my my mother died when I was 6, and my father was career military, and we had already moved a couple of times, and I had left uh, friends, and I said when I was 5 or 6, and my mother had just died, I said I need to just stay aloof and not make close friends, because they leave, they go away. And I erroneously chose that route for many years. It wasn't until literally college or after college, and even more pointedly since I've been working with you, that the need for communications, the need for listening, and taking in what people are telling you and are helping you with is extremely valuable.
Thanks, Hyatt. I appreciate that greatly. A question I have for you is, if you imagine the animals on the book cover and something happens and they all start cackling or making all the noises that they make, something similar also happens with human beings. Everybody just starts jumping in, talking at the same time, giving their opinions, making judgments. And then what happens as a result of that?
Chaos. uh, Lack of forward progress. Uh, the horse has uh, two ways that he communicates with his ears and his eyes, but vocally his whinnies. When a horse whinnies, he does that in two frequencies. When he's in a negative frame of reference, he has a high-pitched whine, whinny, and when he's in a positive, it's a low frequency snort. So he can even the horse can tell you just by the tone of his utterances, what kind of um, mood he's in, or what kind of position he's in. And I think we as human beings, when we learn how to listen and practice what we learn, we can pick up on things like that. And without them, obviously, he can't say to you, you know, I'm hurting, or this is not a good situation. But just as I said, the whinny, the tone, and the length of the whinny um, is indication. And when we learn to listen for those nonverbal or it's often said we communicate, with our eyes, and we can say a whole lot when we say nothing.
You've learned quite a bit, Hyatt. Congratulations.
You're a good teacher.
Thank you. What's interesting, Hyatt, in my experience in working on this book and teaching the courses about listening is how many people think they are already excellent listeners. And it seems to me that listening is a lost art that people just take for granted.
Yeah, I was listening to one of your other good friends and friend of mine, Alcini, who is in the world of communications and does that for a living, said in so many words that, until he interacted with you and what you have taught him, he was far less, while he thought he was a listener, he realized that he was not as complete a listener. And he credits a lot of his subsequent success, if you will, and ability to interact with people. Those were all heightened through listening and learning how to listen.
Thank you. Al is such a great guy, and he did share that he learned a lot, and initially he didn't think there was anything to learn. So that really meant a lot to me.
Yeah, I'll share that. You put me, in that same category. What do I have to go through this? I've been listening for many years. 3 times as much as, and I certainly know how to listen. No.
Hyatt, I want to thank you and your wife for doing the role plays for the course. And if you would just give your experience, what was it like to be in the role play, knowing that I directed you and Linda to do certain things, and then watching the role plays?
It was very educational, and the fact that the scenarios that you set up, which were supposedly extreme and not what they should be, on more than one occasion when we finished them, Linda said, what's new about that? That happens all the time. So it was educational going through those sessions, to the point that what I thought was perfunctory and role play was actually indicative of what I was doing on an ongoing basis, and enabled me to, 1, see that, and 2, begin practicing doing it otherwise.
I appreciate your transparency in sharing that. I think even for me, I see things in my own behavior depending on how I'm feeling. So if I'm feeling emotional or tired, I have to really catch myself. Am I really listening right now? And so one thing that I've learned is to just say in a nice way, I'm here for you. I want to listen. I just can't do it right this minute. But if you give me an hour, or give me 20 minutes, I'll be fully present for you.
I spent this time last week and was on the phone with some people on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I could feel that my batteries were not fully charged. I was not fully in the conversation. And as you did, say, hey, look, can we pick this up later today, tomorrow, whatever, because I realized I was not functioning at the right level to listen to what they were going to say, and far better to just simply reschedule, recharge, and then come back and be listening correctly than to try to do it on the fly when you know you're not at your best, and that's going to get reflected.
Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun just having a chat about listening skills with you. So I want our audience to know that they should definitely reach out to Hyatt. Hyatt's been with me since the beginning. We've missed you on the platform, but you've been up to great things. So for people just joining us, tell our audience about the work you're doing and how you can help them and bring value to them in their business.
When you as a listener want to put your, or you as a business owner, want to put your material in second person, present tense with a call to action, you need to talk to me. Now, why second tense, present tense, second person, present tense call to action? I can say, I can do the following things for you. Or I can say, when you choose to utilize my services, here are the things you are going to be benefited with. Same 4 points, but putting it in the second person. And it's in the present tense. It's not you will or you were, you are. And call to action, take action. Also on the business-to-business trade shows, I guarantee qualified leads because I use open-ended questions. And that, of course, are questions that cannot be answered with a yes or no. So it's how do you use this in your operation? Who in your company uses this? When was the last time you used this? Where was the last time? Who, what, when, where, how? So I help you put your communications tools and techniques into the most advantageous format to get the greatest return on investment.
Thank you, Hyatt.
If you want to call, get a hold of me, it's HIETT@HIETTIVES.com, which you have right there. And you can also call me at 832-372-6900. That's 832-372-6900.
All right. Thank you so much, Hyatt. It's been so much fun having you. We're going to have you back again before the book comes out. So we'll look forward to any updates that you have at that time for our audience.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Much appreciated.
Thank you. See you again soon. Bye. Bye. Thank you, everyone, whether you're watching on the live or listening on the live or the replay. We're just so happy to have you here. It means so much. I say this each and every time, but it's really the truth. Our channel, our network is growing so much because of you. So please help spread the word. Sometimes people think we have just one show. Maybe you're watching this show and you think, oh, this is interesting. Well, we actually have 28 shows a week, and each show is a different topic. And I'm really encouraging people to join our team because my goal for this channel is for it to be USA Global TV and Radio. It's not Dr. Jacalyn's channel. Okay. I have my own business outside of this, which is teaching people how to listen. It's also coaching, yoga, meditation, fitness. So I'm doing this and that at the same time. And I want this to be a platform for people from all over the world to have their own shows. So I have a couple of opportunities for you. And this is a great way to get involved. Someone asked me about this. You can be a guest co-host for a show. So what this means is you don't have to sign a contract for a year. You don't have to go and find guests. You can actually be a co-host for one specific show with me, and we'll interview someone. So if you're interested, you can go over to usaglobaltv.com, book your session. Also, I'm starting a new show. We already have our first guest lined up. It's called Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, a show about nothing. So if you've been with me since the beginning, when I had my radio channel only, I started out with Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, and I got it trademarked and I wasn't doing anything with it. because we've made so many iterations in growing this platform. And I thought, let me bring it back. And I'm going to have just one show name, which is the name of the show, Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. And I'm really modeling it after a show that has had international success. I'm not going to say the name of the show, but many people would recognize it immediately. It was a show about nothing, and it lasted, I don't remember how many seasons. I want to say 10, but it did exceptionally well. So if you want to chat with me, wherever you are in the world, there's no subject. There's no script. It's basically you and I just get on the platform in front of the world and we talk about whatever it is we want to talk about. And there it is again. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. You can go over to usaglobaltv.com, book your session. And finally, I just want to share another new show which I started. It's Dr. Jacalyn's Book Club. And each week I'm going to be introducing a book that's geared towards children, towards kiddos and their parents. And this week is no exception. I'll be reviewing this book, The Adventures of Abella and Her Magic Wand, which is by Zane Carson Carruth. So please do tune in for that as well. You can find out more about our shows over on our website, which is, you got it, usaglobaltv.com. You can go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, which is USA Global TV, and find all of our shows. They're all organized into playlists. So this show will be in the playlist, Lady Ella, and you can watch any and all of our shows anytime you want. Thank you so much again for being here. Thank you to HIETT, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow when we come back with our regular broadcasting. The Mallorca Connection and Talking Heads with Roland Friedel is off today, as Roland is doing some very important work, and he'll be back actually tomorrow for our men's show, which is Wild at Heart, Bonfire Talks, Real, Authentic, Uncut. All right, we'll see you again. Take care. Bye.